Because if you think about it, if you're using recycled water, Pruden showed that the genes that confer resistance go right through the system, so it's coming out in the recycled water. Rose and Harwood showed that this stuff is full of pathogens and that the standards that are supposed to work don't work. And so what you've got is, if this park that we're on was irrigated with recycled water, and I'm out here playing football and all of a sudden I skid on the grass and I open up my elbow, am I going to get it contaminated with antibiotic resistant bacteria? And is that thing likely not to heal? Is it likely to get into my system? So the question is, if it's resistant to antibiotics, then are they going to be able to stop the infection? If they can't, then you get sicker and sicker and maybe die. Or they cut it out of you, and this is what they did during the Civil War. They cut a limb off because they couldn't stop the infection. So are we going to go back to that? I don't know, but I mean, that is a possibility, and it's been discussed by World Health, that there may be a point when normal operations will no longer be possible because they cannot stop the infections. And that's basically what we're looking. We're playing with some very heavy stuff. You say, well, we chlorinate it, but then chlorine merely makes these things more virulent if it doesn't kill them, because it changes the genes, and it also makes them chlorine resistant. So let me explain this to you. If your immune system is functional, then the leukocytes will eat the bacteria. They then put the bacteria in a little pouch and they inject something like chlorine, it's hypochlorite. This then kills the bacteria. But what happens if that bacteria is already chlorine resistant? How effective is your immune system?
Say everybody's in trouble right now. The antibiotic resistant diseases are increasing exponentially in our culture. I noticed that in Ontario the epidemic of methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus in the province began in 1996, the very year that the land application of sewage sludge on a massive scale was permitted. And that might just be coincidental. Is it causal? I don't. There was a time when steel mills and industry were the biggest sources of waste in our society. It's no longer the case. The sewage treatment plant is now the #1 source of contamination into the environment. Well, if they found that it killed a couple of children, well, they're still going to have to put it on there because they have no other place to put it. And if it killed a couple of cows, if it killed a couple of 100 cows, if it killed a couple of 1,000 cows, well, they're still going to have to put it there because they have no other place to put it.